Welcome back, everybody. It's the Spoony Bard coming at you today with an episode in the Gamer Spotlight. The series all about taking a game that's a year or older and shining it in the spotlight in hopes to bring this title to a wider audience and give these titles the attention that they deserve. Today's game we're going to be talking about is a wonderful game on the PlayStation 3 called No Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. Now, No Kuni Wrath of the White Witch is a Japanese RPG that was created by Level 5. But it's very unique in a way because Studio Ghibli worked on the art design. And this game is flowing with Studio Ghibli creativity, aesthetics, the way it looks. Just everything about this title screams Studio Ghibli. They even got Joe Hisaishi, the composer for many Studio Ghibli films, and put it into and made him compose the game's soundtrack. And the soundtrack is absolutely amazing. But what does make Ni no Kuni so great? Well, let's go ahead and first start talking about Ni no Kuni's story, where Ni no Kuni shines the most. Ni no Kuni puts us in the role of a young boy named Oliver. He lives with his mother in Motorville, and him and his friend have been working on this go-kart. They decide one night after Oliver's mother has gone to bed that they're going to sneak out and take this car for a test ride. Well, this is where things go horribly wrong. Oliver test drives the car, ends up crashing it into the lake as something goes wrong, and his mother wakes up in a panic, feels that something is wrong, rushes out to the lake to see, or the river, to see where Oliver is drowning, hops in there to rescue him. Upon rescuing Oliver, she loses her breath and collapses. The doctor says that she has a disease that is incurable, and there's unfortunately nothing that they can do. Well, in a sad twist of fate, Oliver's mother loses her life. This causes Oliver to be devastated. The villagers go in and try to comfort Oliver, help Oliver the best that they can, but there's nothing that they can really do. They make sure that Oliver's okay, try to feed him, and Oliver just starts to cry. His tears drip down his face and onto a doll that his mother gave him, known as Mr. Drippy. The tears awake Mr. Drippy, and he reveals that he's a fairy folk from an alternate world. A world that just by chance so happens to have a connection to the world that Oliver lives in. Mr. Drippy goes on to explain that his mother has a counterpart in this world, and as long as they can rescue his mother on that side of the world, there is a way to bring his mother back. So Oliver and Mr. Drippy open the portal into this world, and they are taken into this fantasy world that is completely parallel to theirs. Upon getting there, they meet an old oak tree who helps them out and helps them find out where they can get a wand. They meet up with a cat named King Tom, who just so happens to be a counterpart of one of the cats back in his village. They go to Alma Moon and meet up with this lady, or the queen there, who is part cow, part human, and they end up calling her the Great Khalifa. They go off into a Castaway Cove, which is a area that it's actually illegal to not wear a swimming suit. If you are in the village, you have to wear a swimming suit. And there's this whole thing where you actually have to go talk to the mayor to acquire a swimming suit so you're able to put it on so you're not breaking the law. You even get to go to a village named Hamlin where you meet a race of people who wear pig masks because their emperor is ashamed of the way that he looks and wants everybody to wear a pig mask like he does. And it's creative little elements in there. They have little nods to like Lands of the Dead. Some the creativity in the monsters is flowing. You know, a very Studio Ghibli-ish kind of characters. There's a character in there, I can't remember what it's called, but it's very reminiscent of Totoro. So it's just blooming with Studio Ghibli magic all over the place. The characters are absolutely spectacular too. The three main characters of the game I thought were absolutely brilliant. And the way that Oliver ties into all of this, I'm not going to spoil this obviously, because I want you guys to play the game, but the way Oliver ties into the story was just magnificently done. Now, Ni no Kuni was actually originally on the Nintendo DS, and that was kind of the first chapter that we got up to a certain part. And the White Witch chapter was added onto the PlayStation 3 version. So we ended up getting the PlayStation 3 version of the game full in its entirety, and the game is a complete, absolute masterpiece. It is gorgeous to see the art style alone. Its gameplay is turn-based mixed with some action moments. One of the biggest things with its gameplay that a lot of people are going to be very familiar with is the Pokemon-style gameplay, meaning you capture these creatures known as familiars, and then you're able to summon the familiars to do your bidding in battle and kind of fight your way through it. You have different ways to capture different familiars. Different familiars do different things. You level up that familiar to the point where they are to make them stronger. You can evolve the familiar into something else. So it definitely has a very Pokemon-style type of gameplay. One thing that it does different from Pokemon in the battle system, though, is your characters actually do have moves that they can do outside of or inside battle, such as Oliver has a few magic attacks that he can release. Esther has her abilities to actually catch monsters. You have to have her to catch monsters. And then the other guy, I can't think of his name right now. Sorry, guys. I'll look it up and post his name right here on the title. But he has the ability to pickpocket enemies and basically steal from enemies. And this takes us into another part of the gameplay that's outside of battle. One of Ni no Kuni's most unique things it does outside of battle is the ability to steal people's hearts, or parts of their hearts at least, and give it to somebody else who needs it. This comes up sometimes during story quests. You have to do this. This is a lot of times what you actually do with side quests. Among other things, a side quest such as collecting items, fighting monsters. That's just a few things that you definitely do inside of there. But where this gameplay element comes through is one of the first moments you encounter this is you need to get into Ding Dong Dell. But it is sealed off, and in order to get in, you have to let this guard in, and this guard lacks enthusiasm. He's not excited, he doesn't like where he is, so you need to go find somebody who has enthusiasm, who's overfilled with enthusiasm, take that back to the guard, and place that enthusiasm inside of him so his heart can be complete. This, of course, ties into the story as the Dark Djinn Shadar has stolen these people's hearts, or parts of their hearts, and kind of filled them with different despair. And there's different various emotions throughout the game that are just kind of fun to explore and have some fun. But you're always going to get in that look to say, okay, who has what? Who can I take this from? So later on, when you find that question, oh, I have enthusiasm, or oh, I have sadness. I can use that on that character. So it's something very cool, something very unique to its world, and something I found really enjoyable. And that's another thing that Ni no Kuni just did that I absolutely loved, was giving you all these side quests to go out and explore the world. There was never a shortage of things to do. The side quests, the fetch quests, the filling people's hearts with a certain emotion was an absolute joy to do in Ni no Kuni. All in all, Ni no Kuni is an amazing RPG experience that deserves more attention than what it has already gotten. It did win RPG of the Year back in 2013 from the VGA Game Awards, which I thought was pretty sweet. It was my personal pick for Game of the Year in 2013. The game was very well received by critics. A lot of people picked it up, but I feel a lot of people skipped out on it because of its childish nature. And anybody who has a respect for Studio Ghibli films, anybody who has a respect for anime, anybody who has a respect for RPGs should sit down and give this game a shot. If you are a Studio Ghibli fan and have not played this game, you're going to feel right at home. This is like playing through a Studio Ghibli film. It is absolutely amazing. With Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom on its way next year, I only hope that this game gives the series a bigger start and pushes a lot more people to go ahead and play this game. But if you haven't played it, pick it up. It is worth it. You guys have been watching an episode of the Gamer Spotlight, a series, like I said, the series is all about bringing a game that is a year older and giving it a chance to shine. Be sure to hit subscribe there for me to check out the next episode of the Gamer Spotlight. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, those links down below in that description box, as well as my other social media links. You guys have been watching the Spoony Bard, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, but most importantly, guys, stay happy, be happy, game happy. Spoony Bard is checking out.